Today we're going to be making yeast rolls. I'm making rolls for my barbecue that I'm making today. So we've already got the yeast rolls the yeast activated in the hot milk and sugar. That's your first step. You want to just get it activated and let it set for about 5 minutes or so. I've already creamed together my egg, butter, sugar, and salt. So now we get to the fun part of getting our dough made up. Yeast rolls are pretty easy once you get the hang of doing it. So that's why I kind of want to make the video on how to do it. The recipe will be in the description so you can get the full-on details on that. So creaming everything together is done and activating our yeast is done. I didn't show that, but this is heating up your milk and mixing in the yeast and sugar. They work together and help activate. You want that so you can get a good rise. Because this is a process, it takes a while. So the first thing we'll do, well, third thing technically, but first thing y'all will see, is you want to add my flour. Give it a good shake. I'm not fully sifting it, but I'm going to start with 1 cup and work it in there. Because you don't want to overdo it. You want a good consistency. I'm going to give this another stir. And you can kind of see it. It kind of bubbles when it's activated. And then I'm going to start mixing that in. You can already kind of smell the yeast smell. And it's definitely going to need a lot more flour. So, repeat again, add a little more flour. You don't want too much. I'm just gonna, I don't always measure everything from eye to eye. Some people have to measure, but I have been baking, cooking so long that I can kind of tell the textures of things. Like I said, the full recipe will be in the description, so for those of you like, I didn't know. This will just give you a quick rundown of how to do it so you can get a visual if you're completely unsure. And I don't have a stand mixer, so I'm doing this all by hand. Of course, you can use a stand mixer. It will make it a little quicker. But you can see the consistency, it's starting to get more dough-like. But we definitely need a lot more flour. Flour, I try to say flour. My slang is typically flour. I'll add about a cup more. And I'll do this to kind of break it up. Okay. And again, work it in. Let's keep working in the flour until you get a really good dough consistency. And then from there, we will start kneading the dough. And then from there, you are going to have to let it rise for about 4 hours. And I recommend doing, see that, it's getting like a dough. I'm about to use my hands for this. But first, since we got a dough, it's looking good. I'll take some more flour and flour the surface. I'll throw a little in my hands because I'm about to start working it, and it could be a little tricky. Work it and add it to our flour surface. Like I said, you can see it's sticky. This is sticky dough, and we want a little more flour. We don't want too dense, but we don't want too sticky either, because we want it to rise good. And make sure I get all the dough from here. And I don't know, y'all might be able to hear my baby. She's in her seat. So I do most of my baking, cooking, prepping in between naps, and times when she's just content. And then right now is my 3-year-old's morning TV time, so I'm trying to fit everything in right. Oh. Did you lose your passy? There you go. So, I'm just going to keep working, and I obviously need more flour. It's still sticky. So, Delta! And we're going to continue kneading that. Knead it for at least a good, once you get the dough consistency right, knead it for at least 8 minutes, and then we'll go to the next part in a moment for her morning nap. But anyway, I've got the dough kneaded. You can kind of see the texture. It's still a little sticky, but I had to hurry it up because she woke up. Then you're going to take a bowl. I like using a glass bowl. I know everybody has their preferences, but I personally like the glass. And I've greased it, just putting a little butter in there. And we'll work it. Still a little sticky. Got some flour left. With a real thing. But now you're just going to round it into a ball. And all right, so it's been about 4 hours later with our yeast dough. It's doubled in size. That's what we want. So this next part is a second rise. We're well into the process. You'll feel air. So what you want to do is just punch down, and you can see that. Now we can let that sit, let it rest. Okay, so it's been a little bit since we let it rest. You're going to take your dough, and you can work it a little more. You can see that it stretches pretty good. That's what we want. So this is what your yeast rolls are going to look like. So I made 8. Like I said, if you're doing rolls, you'll make 12 to 18. I keep saying rolls, but I'm making buns. So this will make 8 buns, and we'll let it rise for about 45 minutes, and then I'll bake them. The video cut me off, but I wanted to show y'all, you're going to make them into little balls. You'll pinch off a piece of the dough, then make them into small balls. Okay guys, so we're about to bake our yeast rolls or yeast buns. I've got the oven set to 375. You're going to bake it on the lowest rack, and you can also put aluminum foil on it just to make sure they don't get too brown, but we're going to bake them for about 20 minutes, and I'll show you all the finished product here in a minute. Here's the finished product on my buns.